Good evening, guys. Welcome to the session. So this session is done by 360DigiTMG, and we are gonna see domain analytics, guys. Okay. So in domain analytics, the topic of domain analytics, we are gonna see robotics analytics and its applications. So today's domain analytics is all about robotics, guys. How we are gonna use robots, how we are gonna implement, what are the type of robots we have, and what are the steps we are gonna involve in. Okay, so this is all about robotics analytics, guys, which is done by 360DigiTMG. Okay, so you are gonna get the complete knowledge about what we are gonna implement. So we are gonna see k-means clustering, KNN, and we are gonna see regression, linear regression, neural networks, and many more. Okay, so we are gonna completely understand how we are gonna do this domain analytics in robotics. Okay, so when I say robotics, what comes to your mind, guys? So robotics is nothing but we'll just robots, right? So the robots, how it's gonna work. So we are gonna completely see how the robots is gonna work. So what all the things they are gonna use. So using this, what all the use cases we can take. Okay. So today's topic is all about robotic analytics, guys. Okay. And once again, welcome to the session. So we'll start the session with moving with the slides. Okay. So agenda, guys. So in agenda, we are gonna see what all we have. Okay, in agenda we have applications. We're going to see CRISP-ML methodology, exploratory data analysis, EDA, data pre-processing, data mining, and supervised learning, right? And k-nearest neighbor, as I said, decision tree, linear regression, and multiplier layer perception. Okay, so these things we are going to cover in the upcoming 8 days of this domain analytics, guys. So what are the applications we are going to use for this domain analytics in this robotics? And the next thing we have is CRISP-MLQ. So what is meant by CRISP-MLQ? So CRISP-MLQ, guys, let me crack it out for you. So it is nothing but cross-industry standard process for machine learning quality assurance. For machine learning quality assurance. Okay. So this is what is meant by CRISP-MLQ, guys. The full form of CRISP-MLQ is nothing but cross-industry standard process for machine learning quality assurance. Okay. So that is the full form of that. So let me clear that, guys, for you. So, and next, what we're going to see is exploratory data analysis, guys. So going on to the session, we are going to see what is meant by this EDA. So exploratory data analysis is nothing but EDA. So we are going to see here first moment decision, second moment, and many more, right? And we are going to see data pre-processing. So what we are going to do, so how we are going to implement, so what are the steps we have to clean the data, transform the data. So we are going to see in this EDA and data pre-processing. And next we are going to see is data mining and unsupervised learning. Okay, that is nothing but k-means clustering. So we are going to see what is meant by k-means clustering, what is data mining. So these are the things we are going to cover in the upcoming sessions, guys. Okay, and we are going to see what is meant by KNN. So what is the difference between k-means clustering and KNN, right? So what is KNN and k-means? K-means is k-means clustering and k-nearest neighbor. So what is the difference between both? And decision tree. So why we are going to use this decision tree? How we are going to implement that? We are going to see that also. And linear regression, guys, the most important topic. We are going to see what is meant by this linear regression. Okay, so how we are going to implement in the use cases of robotics. So what are all the things we can see in this robotics? So these are the things we can see in this linear regression. And MLP is nothing but multiple layer perceptron. Okay, we are going to see what are the concepts we are going to cover and what all you are going to understand by using these concepts. So these are the things we are going to see, guys. So this is the agenda for robotics analytics from domain analytics, which is sponsored by 360DigiTMG, right? So these are the things we are going to cover, guys, by day. Okay, attend the sessions which I'm going to take every day. So this is the day one. Okay, so please concentrate on here, guys. So we'll be moving to the slides. So as we go, as we know, we are going to use robotics, right? Robotics analytics. So what is meant by this robotic analytics? So what is this robotics data? Of course, when I say robotics, you're going to remember the movies like Robot, right? The Robo and everything. So usually when I say robotics, the visual comes in your mind as a robot, as small robots, which you have seen. Okay. So we are going to perform on the robotic analytics only. Who are very interested in this robotic field, right? They will be very concentrated on this. Okay. So what is this robotics data? So robotics is the intersection of science, engineering, and technology that produces machine called robots. We know that, guys. So whenever I say robotics, you know Elon Musk is building some AI implemented robots, right? Which is gonna talk with us, which is gonna express their feelings. They're gonna develop a machine like that. So only the data science people is gonna do that, or only engineer people is gonna do that, or only the AI people is gonna do that. No, right? It's a combination that. If I say a project, there is something project is going on, data science, data scientist must be there, data analyst must be there, and data engineer, front end, back end, everyone must be there, guys, to complete a project. Same thing, the same thing in robotics data also. So for robotics data, the intersection of this, how it's going to build a robot. So there will be intersection of science students, engineering, of course, right? How we are going to build a model. So it should look like a human, but it should look like something else, right? And of course, the technology that produces machines. We should know that the technology which can produce machines. We can't just say, okay, I'm a data scientist, I'll build a machine or I'll build a robot. No. For that, we need a data scientist as well as engineering as the main part. They are going to build the model with how we need. They're going to scrap, they're going to give the metal, or they're going to give the product whichever the shape we need. And of course, the important is technology. So they need it. The technology guys, they're going to give us the machine. It's nothing but is called as robots. Okay, and that replicate or substitute human actions. As I said, guys, we know Elon Musk, right? Everyone knows about Elon Musk because he's taking AI, guys. So when I say AI, you can remember Tesla, right? The car which is implemented with, right? Yeah, implemented with Tesla car means the AI, right? Completely. So to build that, only AI can't build that car, right? Everyone need the data engineer is needed, the technology is needed, data scientist, the everyone. If they combine everyone, then we're gonna build this analysis class. Same thing like this, we have science, engineering, robots, and the technologies, right? And that even can substitute human actions. Okay, and you can see here, you can see the pop culture. So let me read out this line for you so I'm gonna understand. Pop culture has always been fascinated with robots. Okay, it's nothing but the culture, guys. Everywhere we go, we need something which is very unique every time, right? So let me say the robots, how it is built. Some are very interested in that. An example for that is RDD2, the Terminator, right? The movies you can see, guys, about the robots. We have Optimus, right? The kids who watch Optimus, and we have Terminator, of course. The Arnold is the hero in that. That is the movies which is implemented by robots, right? And the Wall-E, this is also a movie which is basically all about the concepts about the robots, how it's going to build, right? So there are so many movies we can get very curious to learn about it, guys. So how these robots are built, right? How are they going to install? What all the concepts they're going to give, the implement to this robot? So how it is going to respond to us? How it is done? If you're curious about that, you should daily attend my domain analytics. It is very important you to learn how this robotics is going to work. And these robots usually seem like that the real thing is like they're more forward than us, guys. We know that. So I can say 1,000 people of work a machine can do, right? More than 1,000 people. You know that nowadays we can say like machines are taking over us, right? Means we don't have to do any work. We don't have to remember anything. If you want a good example, let me say there are 250 contacts in your phone. You can't just remember everyone's phone number, right? So what it is done by, of course, your phone. So your phone is your mind right now. So like this, we are going to see what all the importance we can give to this robotics analytics, how we are going to implement to us, how it is going to take over us, right? Of course, we are going to build it, but they have more knowledge than us does. Okay. And you can see robots are gaining intellectual and mechanical capabilities that don't put to the possibility of RDD to like machine out to reach in the future. So let me give an example, guys. It is a real example. So in Japan, they usually developed 4 robots which built AI, okay, which was built by AI in Japan. Okay. So these three human robots got activated itself through the satellites. They got to know how to activate by themselves, and they got activated themselves, and they started killing the scientists who built that. Okay, you can go and search that. So it was a very unique thing. It was a very what we can say, it was a very scary thing where the robots were made of but it got some intelligence program where it got communicated itself and it got activated by the satellites, guys. Okay, it got activated by the satellites, some robots. So we should be very careful when we are going to apply this domain analytics. I mean, the concepts or the programs, what you're going to go to give for these robots. Okay, you should be very careful when you're going to give what are the programs should be installed this in robots. So what should this robot do? What should this robot do? Okay, so it basically depends on us how we are going to implement what are the programs we need. Okay, so this is how we are going to implement, guys. As we know, robots of the future and AI is going to take over too. So we should be very careful. We're going to implement the programs when you're going to build the robots and all. Okay, so this was an introduction of robotics data, guys. Okay, this was an introduction of robotics data. As we move on, guys, I'm going to give the introduction of robotics. Okay, as we move on, we are going to see what is this robotic analytics. So how it got evolved. Okay, so what are the things where it is going to run? So as a technology progress, right? So we can see the scope of this robotics is too much, guys. Everyone needs a robot. Okay, basically in their lifestyle. Okay, this assembling car, you can see Tesla, which is going to recognize the people are in front of us or not. Or you can see a robot in Japan or Tokyo, where the machine is going to serve you the food. All right. So these type of things you can do in this robot analytics. And what are the type of robotics we have? So I have given you the introduction of what is meant by robotics, and we are going to see what are the types of robotics we have. So we have pre-programmed robots, we have human-made robots, and we have autonomous robots, we have teleported robots. So these type of robotics we have, guys. Okay. So we are going to see how we are going to implement this type of robots. Okay. So as moving on, I'm going to explain the slides, guys, so it'll be easy for you. So before going to this robotics, type of robotics, I'm going to explain what is this bot. So how the software robotics, how it is going to implement by itself. Okay. Bots are nothing but, guys, it's like a computer program. Okay. Let me explain you that. So listen carefully. So software robotics is also called as bots. See, guys, software robotics is also called as bots and are computer programs which carry out tasks autonomously. So this bots, guys, we can say a trigger. Okay, in a SQL and data science we call it as trigger, where it automatically implements itself when we have a data. Same thing, like it is called as bots. Okay, bots are computer programs which carry out tasks autonomously. Okay, means it's gonna do it itself. Okay, one common use of software robot is chatbot, guys. So the live example, if you need, is you can take the loan app, guys, right? They're going to ask you what is your name. It's going to auto respond itself. So it's autonomously done, guys. No one is going to sit in front of a laptop and you're going to ask the question and they're going to answer you. Okay, it is done by AI and NLP. Okay, it's going to convert text to words and it's going to convert word to numbers and it's going to give it in the vector form, and the machine is going to give you the answers. Okay, they will be built with every steps, guys. That was step. Okay, so the best example you can ask is nothing but, you know, the loan apps, right? You're going to ask something, they're going to reply you. Okay, they're completely fixed with that. They're going to say only it should answer like that. Or the live example is one more example. The good example is Alexa or Siri, guys. It is built only with that thing. If you're going to ask any other questions, it's not going to answer. It's going to say, I'm not aware of that, right? They have built the model like that. So the example is chatbot or Siri or Alexa, you can take, right? A chatbot is a computer program that stimulates conversation both online and over the phone. And often we know that, as I given an example, this chatbot is nothing but an online program. It's basically, we can say chatbot, right? The loan app, or in the phone also telecommunication. If we go to book any LPG gas, or you know that press 1 to communicate with the customer, press 2 to cancel your order, press 3 to cancel your order, press 4 to confirm your order. It's done by automatically. Also, guys, in telephone also they're going to use AI. Okay, no one is going to repeat you 1,000 times. Okay. So chatbots can either be simple services that answer questions, as I said, an automated response, or complex digital assistants. Okay, we can give the informations. Okay, basically one is you can get information. Okay, you can get information where you can ask me the question and they're going to answer. Okay, that is done by one thing. And one more we have is it's going to use for digital assistants that learn from user information. So basically, if you want to give any information to this chatbot, it's going to learn and it's going to give you some information. Okay, basically like that is that one more complex thing of this chatbot. And we have this types of chatbots, means type of bots we can say, or software robotics. Okay, so please remember guys, software robotics is also called as bots. Okay, it's a computer program which carry out tasks autonomously. Type of bots, chatbots. I said carry out simple conversations often in a customer service setting. Okay, we know that, as I said guys, the loan app, right? The loan apps where you can say carry out simple conversations where you want loan, I want a debit loan, like that, the normal settings. Okay, and the spam bots collect email address and spend spam mail. So you know, when you open your Gmail, guys, you can see the spam mail. So basically, your mail is going to understand, okay, this message is not very important, so let me throw it to the spam. Sometimes the important message also go to the spam, right? We should be checking spam. So sometimes it automatically, autonomously, I said, it carry out tasks autonomously. It's not going to ask you any permissions. It's going to do it autonomously. It's going to take that mail. It will consider, okay, this is not a mail which I need. So it's going to send it to the spam mail. Okay. And download bots. We know, right? We have so many search engines. Like search engines, we have so many things, right? Search engines means nothing but where we want to download any games. There we have particular website. We can't just go to the websites and we can click on everything, right? We don't have everything. So we know that if we click on any website, it's going to ask us the permissions. It may be we may face some what we say. We may face some issues like our security installation, or we can say our personal information can be carried out. There will be a time of hackers and everything, right? So these type of things also we can see, right? And we have search engine crawler bots. Okay, search engine crawler bots which can scan websites and make them visible on search engines. So it's nothing but guys, websites. Okay, we're going to give basically some examples, and it's going to give some websites names, and it's going to scan it, whether it's valid or it's not valid. It's going to go like that. Okay, and monitoring bots. Okay, monitoring bots. Let me give an example. So if you post any photo in Instagram which is not very good, okay, which is not very good, it's gonna give us a mail. Okay, which is gonna show us inappropriate image, right? And it's against our community guidelines. I think you have been come across that, or you can search in the Google, guys. If you give an image which is not very relevant, which is not following any policies and the terms and conditions, it's gonna throw us an error. It's gonna say it's like it's against our community guidelines, so you can't post that, right? So this is like this, guys. You can see the monitoring bots like this. Okay, this was all about the bots and software robotics, guys. So let me recap it for you. So what is nothing but software robotics, which are computer programs which carry out tasks autonomously. Okay, it's going to carry out our task autonomously, guys. It's not going to ask you any permission. As I said, mail also, if the mail is important or not, but it's going to carry it automatically. It's going to say, okay, this mail is not important. It's going to throw it to the spam mail. Okay, which is done autonomously. Okay, I think it is clear what are types of bots we have, what is software robotics and all. So let's move on, guys. So robotics analytics, how it's gonna data driven, how the process is driven, how the data is driven. We are gonna see it like this. So this is the image, guys. You can see. So let me draw it and show you for you. So this is an image of robotics, how it's gonna take care, guys. So robotic desktop automation with manual intervention. So this robotic desktop animation, guys, you can see for PPT. The best example is PowerPoint presentation, guys. We have tried to create any animation, guys. This PPT is very good. Okay, animation. Okay, and straight through processing. I'm going to show you what I have prepared for this robotic analytics, the animation, and this process of automation. How I'm going to implement using this automation. And the next thing we are going to see is machine learning. So how we are going to implement this machine learning is robotics with prescriptive analytics and decision engines. Okay, and we have artificial intelligence, which have predictive analytics. Okay, so this processing, it's going to increase the complexity and the costs less. Okay, this thing is going to increase our costs. So this process driven and data driven, you can see what we are doing and what we are thinking, like process driven. So we are going to do this, but the data driven will be machine learning and artificial intelligence. Okay, so this is all about robotic analytics. And moving on, how these robots function. I know everyone will be curious. You have said what is robot, what are type of bots, what are software bots. So how this robots is going to function? So what type of robots we have? There are different type of robots, right? So you can see how do robots function? How do robots function? So let me, before going how robots function, guys, I want you to know what is meant by independent robots and dependent robots as well. Okay, independent robots, which are capable of functioning completely autonomously. Okay, it's not gonna take help of any human or any other devices, which is gonna take care itself autonomously. Okay, these independent robots are capable of functioning completely autonomously and independent of human operator control. Okay, it's not gonna take any interference of human, it's gonna activate itself. So these typically require more intense programming. Okay, this requires more intense programming, and it will allow robots to take the place of humans when undertaking dangerous or otherwise impossible tasks. As I said, guys, in Japan, the example, right? It got automatically generated by itself, guys. Okay, so that is the thing we should be aware of what we are going to implement. Independent robots have proven to be most disruptive to society. Okay, these independent robots are proven to be most disruptive to the society. It may be like, let me say, it may be a corner prawns. So where there is advantage, there is a disadvantage, right? Okay, we should believe in that. Okay, we should be very careful when we are building a robot, because it is a boon to us also. It has been cursed to us also. Okay, please be aware of that when you're going to implement any robot. So when you get any company regarding this robotic analytics, any robots company, you should be aware of everything, guys. So what are the programs you're going to implement, right? So you should be very careful about what you are going to implement, how you are going to implement, and what the types of data you're going to implement, right? And this, they eliminate certain jobs but also present new possibilities for growth. As I said, guys, this robots can do 1,000 people's of work, right? It can do 2,000 people's of work also. But we should be aware we are going to build that. So as we can say, we have heard some terminologies like if robots are coming, we're going to lose some jobs and all, right? So we should be very careful in that what we are going to implement and all. Okay. So how we are going to implement, what we are going to use this for. Okay. These are all about the independent robots, guys, which are capable of functioning itself autonomously. It's not going to take any risk. Okay. So moving on, guys, we are going to see robotics in data analysis. Sorry for that. So robotics in data analytics. So robotics, as I said, guys, how we are going to use. So artificial intelligence, AI, guys. Of course, without AI, there is no robotics, right? Which has some human interference, which can act like humans, which like think like human, right? And we are going to use it for big data. See, this big data, I'm going to explain it, guys. So inspires this artificial intelligence has analytics and business intelligence. Okay, this AI has analytics and business intelligence, which is gonna perform like what we need for why we use this data analytics in this robotics. Okay, and machine learning and deep neural networks. It should mimic human brain, right? So we are gonna build a machine which mimics human brain, like ANN, CNN, right? Convolutional neural networks, artificial neural networks, which can detect object, which can give question and answers. CNN, RNN, recurrent neural networks, right? Deep neural networks, which can imitate human brains. Okay, and after that, we are gonna go for data mining. So data mining and machine learning. Okay, so we have seen machine learning, and we are gonna see data mining and deep learning. So what is this data mining and deep learning? Okay, so data mining, we're going to see how we're going to implement that, and deep learning. So what are the concepts we're going to use for this deep learning? Okay, after this, all this, after artificial intelligence and big data, machine learning, data mining, deep learning, and deep neural networks, we are going to apply, and after that, we're going to get for computer vision, natural NLP, guys, natural language processing, and we're going to use generative models. Okay, so what are types of models we are going to use? Okay, so like this, we are going to apply how we are going to use this computer vision, NLP, natural language processing, in this data mining. In big data, guys, you can see statistics and data visualizations. Okay, so we're going to get the insight after that. So I'm going to give the data to the artificial intelligence. So it's going to perform analytics, business intelligence, and it's going to do some machine learning concepts, and it's going to take deep neural networks, and it's going to enable data mining and deep learning, and we're going to get the big data. So after combining everything, it's going to give us computer vision, NLP, and generative models. And at last, we're going to get the insights. Okay. I hope it is clear how we're going to use this diagram for data science using this robotic analytics. Okay. So moving on, we're going to see dependent. I said, guys, we have seen what is meant by independent robots. Okay. So the next thing we're going to see is dependent robots. So what is this dependent robots in robotics data analytics, right? So dependent robots are non-autonomous guys. So as I said, independent robots are autonomous, and dependent robots are non-autonomous. Okay, independent are autonomous, dependent are non-autonomous. Okay, what is the difference between both these? Independent autonomous does not require any human interference. Guys, it's gonna activate itself. It's gonna activate itself. Okay, without any human interference. But these robots, you require the human interference. Okay, interference is nothing but they need help of human guys. Okay, so if you want an example for human, you can take an electric car, right? Where we should on the switch to car to run, where we need a switch to on, right? But here, in case of this independent, we don't need anything. It's gonna automatically, it's gonna implement itself. Independent robots, we need, it's gonna do it it's not gonna do autonomously. It requires an human interference. See, it's with human instance and supplement their already existing actions. So this is relatively new from technology and is being constantly expanded into new applications. So we're going to use this application to build new other models. But one form of dependent robots that has been realized is advanced that are controlled by the human brain. So this independent robotics, guys, it is not controlled by humans sometimes. Okay, this dependent robots is completely controlled by, yes, this completely controlled by humans. Okay, it is completely controlled by humans, guys. Human mind, how it is gonna work, they're gonna see. So if I'm gonna off that car switch, it's not gonna work. If I'm gonna on, it's gonna run, right? They're completely dependent on human, and they're controlled by human also. Okay. So these are the difference between this independent robots and dependent robots. Okay, and going on, we have, see, a famous example of dependent robots was created by Johns Hopkins. Okay, so this Johns Hopkins in 2018, he was a patient, guys. Like, let me say, his arm was his elbow was got some crack. Okay, and use some modular prosthetic, like prosthetics, where we use like prosthetic limb, and he just did some research, which it got expanded for sustained period. And the MPL, this basically he built an thing where his arm got like he built an application where his arm was broken, but after applying these machines and everything, he was controlling it by the remote, where his broken arm can be lifted up, lifted down. Right? He built a machine like that. This Johns Hopkins, when his elbows were broken, he couldn't lift his hand. So I was very curious. So why can't I lift my hand? My hand is broken. So let me do something. So I built a machine. Okay, where he can like, if he was doing some controls in the machine, his hands were raising by itself by the help of machines. Where he used some artificial intelligence and everything, the engineering things and everything. So he was able to move his hand by using the remote controls, which he has built. Okay. Same thing here is explained, guys. So I'm not going to drag this too much. Okay, just understand what is meant by that. So moving on, we have seen dependent robots and everything. We are going to see what are the main components. What are the main components we have? So robots are built to present solution to a variety of needs and fulfill several different purposes, and therefore require a variety of specialized components to complete these tasks. Okay, these robots are built to present situation to variety of needs, guys. Like let me say, to call someone, to give food, to all types of this, we are going to use this robotics, guys. Okay, for all type of things, we are going to use this robotics. We require it for different purposes. Okay, and we can say it require variety of specialized. Okay, and the components, and we can complete this task too. Okay, what are the main components of a robot? So the main component of the robots, we know, if I say the electric car, the car which we are going to buy from the shop, we know we have front, back, we can change the gear, everything, right? There are some advanced cars also. So here in the knowledge which I have to, what are the main components we have in this robot? Right? We have control system, we have sensors, actuators, power supply, and end effectors. So this control system, the CPU that direct a robot's task at high level, guys. Okay, where the CPU can direct a robot task to high level, and sensors, the component that provides electrical signals to allow a robot to interact with world. Sensors, you know, guys, right? So we have an electric sensor. When we go out, when there is no interference of any human, there is no interference of human, the light is going to off. So when we are going to come, the light is going to on. Same thing, guys. We are going to use sensors. So in the car, we can see. So if we are going to touch something, we are going to hit the wall. It's going to give us sound, right? It's going to give us some warning sound. So we're going to hit the wall or touch something. So that type of sensors we have. So sensors are nothing but it's a component. It's like a which gives some electrical signals for us. So when we are going to implement any the sensors, it's gonna give us some voice when we're going to use it in the car too, right? So actuators, the motor parts that are responsible for robot movements. Okay, so it's nothing but actuators which are responsible for, yes, the movements of robot, guys. How it's going to robot, how the robot is going to move. It all depends upon actuators. And next one we have is power supply. So how much type of power supply we need, right? So what power supply we need to move this robot? It depends on robots, right? So we have some. Let me say you buy a car for 500 rupees. Okay, some small car. It requires two batteries. And if you're gonna buy some 10,000 rupees or something, any other car, it requires other battery. If you're gonna give for other car, you need lithium battery. So it depends upon what all the power supply you're gonna give for these robots and how it's gonna perform. Okay, and end effectors, which are nothing but exterior features of a robot that allow it to complete task. Okay, we are gonna see. Let me say end effectors. It's gonna give us the complete details how it's gonna end the task. So what is gonna use? How we're gonna complete the task. So what are the features? What are the exterior things we're gonna apply? Okay, these are the end effectors. So these are the main components of robots, guys. So what are the main component of a robot? The main component of a robot is nothing but control system, sensors, actuators, power supply, and end effectors. So these are very important, guys. When you're going to go for robotics, you should be able to answer. So what are the things you're going to use? So what type of robots we have? Independent, dependent. Okay. Let me explain you about control system, guys. So control system, it's a computation, includes all of the components that make up robots. So basically, if I say a control system, it's nothing but where it's gonna control everything. Okay, control a robot completely. Its central processing unit, often referred to as its control system. Control systems are programmed to tell about robot how to utilize its specific component. So the control system says how it want to work. So you are the thing, guys. So let me say an example. When I give an example of this car, you are gonna control it, right? It's a dependent robot. It's not done autonomously, right? It is dependent robot. It is done by you. It is done by human, but controlled by you, right? So you're gonna say, okay, go fast. You're gonna say right, left turn. It completely depends on you. Okay, it's not an independent robot. It's gonna say, okay, there is something you're gonna hit. It's not gonna give any sounds. Independent robots, it's completely done by you. You're gonna increase the acceleration. You want to go left, right. Depends on completely on your mind, guys. The same thing here is control systems are programmed to tell a robot how to utilize the specific components. Similar ways in how to this human brain send signal, right? So if you're going to touch something, hot thing. Okay, we're going to touch some hot thing by your hand. It's going to send you a signal. Okay, we're touching some hot thing. It's going to give us a pain. Or if you fell down, or if you're going to bleed, it's, you know that, right? If you're going to bleed or do something, it's going to give you the signal to the brain. Okay, just touch something. Okay, here he has been bleeding, so send the vibrates or liquids. If you're a biology student, you know it, right? So it's going to send everything, and it's going to block our brain. Same thing is done by control system also, guys. Okay, nothing else. It's like human brain. We're going to completely understand bias, and we'll complete that, and it's going to send the signal. So what has to be done? Okay. So moving on, sensors. I said, guys, sensors are nothing but see here, a robot stimuli in the form of electrical signal. It is going to give us an electrical signals. So if you know the sensors, the bulbs, guys, the light bulbs, which is being very this good apartments, you can see if you're going to go out, the light is going to up. These are the sensors that it's going to scan you. Okay, if there is someone is no one is there, it's going to off the light. Okay, same thing, which are processed by the controller and allow the robot to interact with the outside world. Okay, the sensors is provided by robot in the form of electrical signals, which is processed by a controller. It's going to allow the robot to interact with the outside world. There's common sensors, guys. Common sensors found within robots include video cameras that function as eyes, photoresistors, and microphones. And it's going to operate like sensors allow robot to capture. It's going to around surroundings. So we can say what are the sensors to do? It's going to capture something and process most logical conclusion. It's going to give us controller really commands. So sensors is particularly controlled by this sensor. What we can say, guys. We can say it's a control system. Okay, it's controlled by it. So it's going to say what are the video cameras, what are the microphones to be on, what are the most logical conclusions we can use these sensors. Okay, do some research on these sensors, guys. We'll get beautiful answers. Okay, I have explained in my terms. If you are interested in robotic analytics, okay, you have to do that. So this is done. So let's move on, guys. Actuators. Actuators, right? Actuators, you can say a device can only be considered to be a robot if it's a movable frame or a body. This actuators is nothing but a physical thing, guys. Okay, where the robot is gonna move. Okay, not in a coma state. Okay, not moving anyway. It's gonna stay there. No, right? It's gonna consider only if a robot is moving. Actuators is actuators or the components, guys. Yes, these actuators are the components that are responsible for this movement. Okay, if the car is moving on, the electric car is moving on. Okay, never mind my drawing. Okay, if this thing is moving, it is done by actuators, guys. Okay, it is done by actuators. Okay, if there is a movement of this car or a truck or something, what you can call, if it is done, if there is a movement, this actuator is responsible. See, which are responsible for this movement. These components are made up of motors that receive signals from control system. Of course, actuators is not an independent thing, guys. It's dependent. But is which if you're gonna give some thing in control system, I said, guys, if you want to say the car to go right or car to go left, it is done by you, right? Then if this is gonna move to the left, there is any movement, it is called as actuator, which is done by control system. So these actuators can be made up of variety of materials such as metal, elastic, and are commonly operated by use of compressed air or hydraulic actuators or variety of forms to fill with a specialized roles. So it can be in any time. If the object is movable, it is nothing called as actuators. It may be in anything, any form, any shape, any area or anything. Okay, if it is movable, it is called as actuators in this robotics. Okay. So moving on, power supply. So how much we need this power supply? So it depends upon, yes, it depends upon the robots which we have built. So power supply, like the human body, it requires food in order to function. The robots require power. Of course, guys, we know, right? We need food to survive. Can we give food to robots? No, right? For them, the food is nothing but power. The batteries also you can call it, right? Batteries. Okay. Stationary robots such as those found in the factory may run on AC power through wall outlet, but more commonly robots operate by internal battery. As I said, guys, some robots you can see which is not performed by battery, it can run by some AC wall AC power, or you can see this wall outlet, right? First 90% or 99% you can say the most robots are done by internal battery. Electric car, guys. Simple example for you. Electric cars, electric bikes, you know it, right? This type of things we have seen here. So these are all is running on internal battery. So most robots utilize lead acid batteries for the safe. So when we go to install any thing, guys, in your laptop, if your charger has been broken, they're gonna say you what quality you need. You need high quality or you're gonna need low quality, right? So it depends upon batteries, guys. So you can take an example. Let me say the OnePlus has 4000 mAh and iPhone has a 5000 mAh. It's not basically happening, but let me say iPhone has 3000 mAh and this OnePlus has 4000 mAh, right? So how it is done depends upon the battery. What are the things they're going to use? They're going to use lithium batteries, lithium ion batteries, right? So they're going to depends upon what the brand they're using and what are the components using in this battery to maintain the battery. If it's going to drain fast, it's going to give it fast, or it's going to come for lifetime, right? It's going to depend on us. Here you can see the qualities and long shelf. As I said, guys, long shelf life. The other may utilize with complex of more expensive silver cadmium variety, safety weight, replaceability, all important factors to consider. Design a robot's power supply. Depends on you guys. What type of battery you're going to build. Okay, depends completely on you. What type of battery you need? You need lithium batteries, you need lithium ion batteries, or you need long shelf batteries, you need low shelf batteries. You need the battery which is very good. Depends on you and depends on what robots you're gonna build, right? You can't just say, okay, in the electric car, I'm gonna give 150 kilometers. No one is gonna take it, right? They at least need a battery which can go near 500, at least 300, right? You can't just say, okay, I have built a car, I'm gonna give it's only like 20 kilometers can run. No, right? It can't do. So we're gonna build, depends on you how we're gonna use it. Okay, we're gonna build an electric car, we need a battery which can run for 50,000 kilometers, 500 kilometers. They need more, right? Because there will be no charge point. In 50 kilometers, there is no charge point. Every time we can't go and charge the battery and we can go travel, right? So we have to be very careful what type of batteries we're going to use and what type of shelf we are going to use. We need for long shelf for everything. Okay. Some potential power sources for future robotic development also include pneumatic power for compressed gases. As I said, guys, we can go with the compressed gases of this pneumatic power also, like solar power. We know this, right? The solar electric current. There is a light falling on our solar panel. We can get a light, right? We have same thing like for car also, and hydraulic power, flywheel energy, where we can the wind can come and give it energy. Every time we can't expect wind, every time we can't expect this solar energy, right? Yes. And organic garbage, we know somewhere doing the trick where we can build a fuel, okay, where we can get the fuel from crude oils, right? Some are trying that, and the garbage where we can use this to utilize somewhere where we can use this garbage and run the vehicle. Or you can search the net, guys. We have some vehicles which will learn by the garbages, okay? And anaerobic digestion and nuclear power. We know nuclear power is nothing but we're going to use the wars, right? So these type of power supplies we can give, guys. It's all depend upon what the project we are going to build, right? So the next thing is end effectors. So end effectors are the physical, typically external components that allow robots to finish carrying out their task. So it is the last thing, guys. The control system, after that operating system, after that we have actuators to move the body and end effectors. At last, what we are going to do, what is the task is going to do? When let me say I'm going to go with the 100 speed, I'm going to say, right, it's done by end effectors. It's going to give the complete task. The vehicle has been gone with the speed of 100 and it has been turned. The task is done. It is done by end effectors. And robots in factories often have interchangeable tools like paint sprayers, drills, surgical robots, maybe aqueduct scalpels, other kind of robots can be built with gripping claws, and tasks for deliveries, much more. Drone, guys, simple thing, drone, right? I was seeing in some post. So in India, they're going to use drone to deliver food, right? I was seeing in some posts. I don't know if it's good or not, true or not. So I have seen this drone, and we can see we can use drone to see when we have flood, right? When we have a result with the flood, we can see they were using drone to find out where the peoples are. So it's gonna this drone guys will be built with AI. So it's gonna recognize the human face, and by seeing the drone, our Indian Army, the Great Indian Army, can go and save the people. Okay, the para commanders, right? They're gonna save us. They're gonna save the people who are stuck in the flood. Okay, so these things we can expect from these drones, the end effectors. Okay, so this was all about the components of robotics, guys. I'm sure you have understood everything. So if you are not able to listen to the class, some work, please come attend the class every day. The session will be going on. We are going to implement everything. Okay. So moving on, this was all about this robotics, guys. The what type of components we are going to see. We have seen what all things we have, right? So what are the components we have seen? So what are the things in robotics we need? We are going to see this robotics have different components, how this robot is going to work, right? And we have seen the sensors, the actuators, batteries. So all the things, guys, if we combine everything, then the robot is built, right? We need machine learning concepts. We need AI. We need data scientists. We need data analysts. We need engineers. A group of people who are ready to build this thing. We need them, guys. We can do by this. Okay, let me show you a presentation, PowerPoint presentation, how we are going to use animation thing. Okay, let me show you something. Okay, so here you can see guys, robotics, right? Robotics. Here you can see using animation of the robotics. You can see a robot, right? This is a robot. If I click on that, it's going to tilt, guys. See, it's going to tilt. Okay, it is an animation robotics where artificial intelligence, everything is done. Okay, so the domain was about robotic analytics. So guys, this was all about a session about domain analytics, which is sponsored by 360DigiTMG, right? So we know it is sponsored by 360DigiTMG, and the domain analytics is all about, yes, the domain is all about robotics, guys. Okay, I'm sure like you have understood what is meant by robots, what are the components we are going to use, what are the importance of robots in this future. So in the upcoming world or in the upcoming generations, we can say, right? So domain analytics, which is sponsored by 360DigiTMG. So we are going to see robotic analytics, guys. This was a day one. So day two, we're going to see more important topics, what we're going to use and everything. Okay. So watch the videos, guys. In case if you miss any, you can go and watch recorded videos whenever you want. So I'm going to give you is the information, what all we require for robotic analytics in this domain. Okay. We are going to use K, and K means linear regression, MLP, everything we're going to see, guys. And we're going to understand what other things we need. We need cross-industry standard process, data mining, data pre-processing. We're going to clean the data, analyze the data. We're going to run the code, which are very important to us. Okay. So this was all about the session, guys. So thank you for the session. Please be available or tomorrow for the day two, domain analytics from 360DigiTMG. It's going to be on robotics. Thank you, guys.